First of all, dude, I just wanted to say congratulations. That new album's great, man. Like, I've been listening to you guys for a while, and it just feels, it just feels a lot bigger. Everything just feels amped up in the new album. We've been listening to it like nonstop. Like my kids love the hell out of it.
You know, I
It's good to hear, man.
yeah, I went to there was this documentary that I was watching recently, and it's about advertisement, right? And they were saying that like they used to have this formula how for them to gauge how if things were going to be marketable, they would present them to like a group of children, and if the children liked it, then they knew they had a good product. So I guess I got a good product if the kids like it. And it's been like that even with like Gothic Summer. Like the kids love it. Like you know, 5-year-olds love that song.
No, that one, Edge of the Blade, is like on constant rotation in my house. Like my kids are just.
Another friend last night mentioned like, yo, my 5-year-old loves Edge of the Blade, and I'm like, man, I can't even picture that. Lyrically.
You know, our daughter was just like, so when's that music video coming out? Because I showed her the teaser, and she was just like, I gotta see that. Yeah, it was cool.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully
next week.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hopefully this week.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, it everything just feels, I mean, to me, a lot bigger. I mean, everything from like just production to just in general, it just has like a really huge sound to me. Was that something maybe you guys walked into wanting to do? Was there a kind of set plan for this album to do?
No, not necessarily. Like, our intentions were just to make the album as eclectic as possible. I wanted each song to stand on its own.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be linear. I wanted every song to be completely different from the next. And that was my only goal. You know, but still staying in the vein of Prayers. I wanted to experiment with guitar and more than anything because I'm a huge New Order fan, you know, so I love the New Order, and that's kind of the element that I wanted to bring in certain songs like Tears in the Rain and like Black Leather, and you know, even in like that guitar solo at the end of 1913, you know, just that's what I was trying to capture, and I feel like I did. But the sound is bigger because, you know, we're maturing, we're you know, with what we're doing when we first started, you know, like, and we still believe in doing we're still huge fans of minimalism, especially, that's what we are, like, to us, less is more, but we've made friends along the way, you know, and this was also another way of us honoring the new friendships, like bringing people like Picture Plane, you know, for trust issues, Ray on Black Leather, Beauty and Bedlam, and you know, all that guitars, this guy named Ray, who's a huge producer. He does everything from Santiago to Twin Shadows to Miguel. He's all over the place. And he's, you know, a great friend. And, like, we wanted to work with him. And it worked out in our favor. Other people like Sleep Talk. And, yeah, I mean, the album also, I think the reason that it's as eclectic as that it is for several reasons. It was because that's what I wanted, but I was also able to do it because we didn't sit through a whole like session. Like when we did Young Gods, we were like in the studio for like honestly a week, but each day was like focused on a song, you know. And this was spread out throughout the year because we were touring and doing so many different things that we were able to like kind of pace ourselves and really take the time to just develop what we were working on.
Yeah, totally. You know, you mentioned, you know, it being kind of a minimalist and just you two guys and that kind of stuff. One thing that's always stood out to me about your music is it feels very personal, and it feels like everything is meticulously thought out. Everything from like the music to the lyrics to the visual representation. Fashion seems to be a big part of your band and stuff. I mean, is that important?
It is very important. Fashion is very important. I think I got into music. I got into fashion, I got into makeup because of music, you know, because I come from that era. I'm 42 years old. I grew up listening to people like David Bowie, where fashion mattered, like all those great art, like even Prince, you know. I feel like that's really like what a rock star is. Like, I can't do it any other way. It like the I'm also an artist too, which is one of the things that I don't really talk about, but I'm a painter. I also won a scholarship in fashion design, but instead of going to school for fashion design, I got in trouble and I ended up going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got out of jail, I pursued music instead of fashion. But it's something that I've always been into, you know, and for me, aesthetics are huge. Like, I only got into music because I wanted to make videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't know the music was going to take off. I just like, well, I want to make a video, but about what? Well, I might as well make a song, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's kind of like how it kind of developed in a sense. You know, there was, I just love art.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm using, you know, music as the vessel to be able to, like, do other things, like, you know, videos and fashion and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Being into fashion and, you know, growing up, like you said, being into David Bowie, New Order, bands like that, at any point was it kind of difficult to, as far as like the band taking off and stuff, to not be accepted but kind of like let people know, okay, this is who I am and I like this stuff too?
Oh yeah, very difficult, man. Very, very trying, especially because of where I grew up. You know, it's a very machismo and very, you know, masculine in the sense that it's like you don't do certain things, and I fought against it, you know, and physically fought against it, and I would get beat up because of, you know, how I dressed and the things that I wanted to pursue, even though I was still, you know, I mean, my story, I think, in a sense, it's kind of complicated, and it's not like one simple, I can't answer a question with a simple answer. I have to give you like the background, the story to it, you know. So I gotta say, well, you know, I got into gangs not because I wanted to get into gangs, because I had to. I would have been a different person if I wouldn't got into gangs, you know. But it also made me who I am, so I don't regret any of it. But I got into gangs to survive because for my family, right? But I was always an artist. And I was born with that, so I fought to keep that light lit, if that makes any sense, right? Because they were, you know, trying to beat it out of me. Well, and I don't think it was intentionally. It's just society is sometimes like we grow up in these environments, and whether it's religion or whatever, I mean, you see it. You know, people are afraid of anything that's different. They're afraid of change, and for whatever reasons, you know. And I come from that generation of like. The 80s, you know, so for me, like, the 80s were all about fashion, that everything was excess, you know, and I wanted that, and I always desired, like, I lived that way, like, my life has always, in my own head, I've been in a music video, I would walk a certain way, like, I remember I used to walk to work, and I had no idea that I was putting this out, it's just that I am in my head. Yeah. And in my head, I'm walking in clouds. In my head, everyone's staring. Right, I have this, it's just how I've managed to survive. It's like a survival thing that I think people create within themselves. And I needed that to survive. I had to see myself a certain way, right? In order for me to, like, be okay and not feel like what everyone else was saying was true, you know, how they saw me. So I was like, you see me this way, but I know who I am, so I don't have to accept, you know, your point, how you see me. I don't have to accept that. I know who I am. So remember, I would walk to work and would walk by this house. I would walk by this house on the way to work and on the way home from work. There was always like a group of guys on this patio that would always just be drinking beer, smoking pot. And I would never look in their direction. I would just have my headphones and I would just mind my business, headphones on, walk to work. And then on my way back, they would still be out there drinking and smoking. And then one day, a buddy of mine happens to be there with them. And he calls my name, hey, Rafa. So I'm like, what? Oh, hey. So I walk over, say hi, introduce myself to everyone. And then I start talking to everyone. And then this guy, you know, and then they find out that I'm an all right guy. And, you know, I can be funny. And one of the guys says, hey, man, I owe you an apology. I have to apologize to you. And I was like, for what? I don't even know you. I've never, you know, why do you have to apologize to me? So, because I see you walking by here all the time. And I just thought you were so arrogant. And I would always joke around with these guys saying that one of these days I was going to throw a beer can at you and hit you and start a fight with you, but you would never look our way. You would just, keep looking forward, and I just, your headphones on, but we would yell stuff at you, and you just would make fun of you. And just because I thought you were so fucking arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
And now I regret that because you're fucking super cool. And I was like, and it made me think, I was like, wow, what am I putting out there?
Yeah.
What am I putting out there?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, in Lucifer's Rising, like, I'm a soldier under fire, a king amongst thieves. I hold my head up high when I'm walking down the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put that out there, and it's not just, I don't know, it's just, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it a trip, right? The way that people see, and I was like, okay, cool, this guy doesn't like the way that I walk.
Mm-hmm.
The way he doesn't want me to be proud. He wants me to,
No, totally. And speaking on that and the whole acceptance and kind of having these preconceived notions, last month I covered Ozfest and Notfest.
Yeah.
And I remember being so excited the fact that you guys were on the bill because I was stoked, but at the same time I was just like, but it sounds like it seemed kind of like odd to me at Notfest. Like I was just thinking like, okay, are people gonna accept this? Like I'm stoked as hell. I'm curious, like how did that go?
I mean, I felt like we had, it was mixed, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's people that were like flipping us off, and but there was people that were dancing and singing. I mean, we have an audience, we have a core audience that like love us, and that will. There's people that went to that festival just for us,
mm-hmm.
and they were there for us and nothing else, So that was great. So we're always at home, and I'm used to it. We toured with the Cult, and that was rough. We had stuff thrown at us, but I feel like, to me, it's like when things like anything difficult in life, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a meter. It helps you gauge where you are with your own mind, with yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm gonna let anything like that like break me, then I don't belong on stage. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't be on stage then. If someone's beer can, I've been hit in the head. Like I was in Portland, and I banned Portland for a while. I was not gonna play Portland ever again.
Yeah.
And I changed my mind. I was like, you know what? I will go to Portland again. It's cool. But I was playing Portland, and someone threw a fucking can in a glass bottle and hit me right in the fucking head.
Oh wow.
As I'm singing, I ignored it.
Mm-hmm.
I pretended like it didn't happen, and I just kept singing. I didn't want to give them power.
Yeah.
I just kept singing, ignored it, finished my set. Cool. Mm-hmm. We're done. And then I just told my manager, yo, Portland banned, never stepping foot in that town or city again. And then recently people have been like, what's up? And I was like, you know what? I should let that go. Mm-hmm. It's cool. I'll go back. But yeah, it's like, I should, that shouldn't fucking affect me, mm-hmm. right? Like, I get it. Like, we represent change. Like, Prayers represents change. And some people go there because they hear the music and they want to test me. They want to see if I really am that guy, right? And I am. Mm-hmm. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be on stage. Right? And I feel like being on stage is something that you have to earn. Mm-hmm. You have to earn to be that. I don't want to be mediocre. I don't want to be like all these other people. Like, I go out of my way, man. Like, this is a lifestyle. These nails, the way I dress, this is 24/7. I'm committed. This has been me before I got on stage. Mm-hmm. And now I just happen to have a platform. So this is a lifestyle. I'm not pretending, So for me to be this, it's like something that I fought for. So I can't let these people like take that from me, mm-hmm. And I know that I'm gonna be tested, and people are gonna come and want to fight me, and it's happened. My manager will tell you, people have pulled knives on me, people have threatened me, right? And they come, and if they want to spend their own hard-earned money to come and test me, that's cool, mm-hmm. That it's gonna be a waste of money on their half, But for me, I feel like, I think anyone that gets on stage, man, you gotta fucking deserve that. You can't, don't even do it.
Oh no, totally. And I mean, you mentioned the Prayers represents change and that you have a platform. I feel like it's such an important platform, and you guys especially. I agree 100%. I think you guys are pushing forward a lot of stuff that has been like a certain way for a while. I mean, going back to the 80s, I grew up in the 80s too. Going back to the 80s, it seemed like if you were into like, like Bauhaus, Sisters of Mercy, bands like that, it would predominantly be these kind of like,
You're not outcast.
Yeah. That, and also, it seems very, Caucasian. like kind of a certain way,
you're
you know, and it was that, or, you know, the punk rock scene I grew up in. It was, I mean, we were kind of outcast, but at the same time, there was also very cliquish stuff in that.
Yes, of course.
Whereas, like, these days, you go to, like, a Morrissey show, I mean, you know what I mean? In the 80s, Morrissey shows, Smith shows, it'd be, you know,
Caucasian.
yuppies,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. These days, it's all eclectic and that kind of stuff. Do you
Yeah.
think having that platform helps bring that to, like, the masses and show that, like, a lot of different people are into, like, a lot of the same stuff?
Definitely, I agree with you. Yeah, I think it definitely is important. I think that we do bring crazy demographics, you know, from all walks of life. Like, you know, like, and I mean, from the LGBT community to like who are huge supporters, you know, like they love prayers, you know, and then you have the Mexicans, and then you just have the, you know, like we have huge, you know, Caucasian fans too. Like it's just like all over the place. It's very diverse. Our audience is crazy diverse. I love that, you know.
Yeah, totally. I remember seeing a video. I think it might have been a year or two ago. I think it was a Vice little video, and you guys were playing, I think, like a backyard show or something like that. From that to where it is now, it seems to be such a healthy growth for you guys.
Yeah, it's organic.
Yeah, where do you see it going from here? Where would you like to see it?
You know, I'm not a person of expectations, you know what I mean? I definitely live in the present. I'm right here with you, and this conversation is the only thing that matters to me. This moment that me and you are sharing, that's it. I have no power outside of it. You know what I mean? You know, later on, I'm just present. I know that we've already accomplished so much just because, you know, this isn't something that we really foresaw. So we've already, I honestly, I can't say that I have, all I know is that I'm working on, I have a body of work that I have to accomplish. And that's my main objective. My objective is to finish this body of work. And prayers is a stream of consciousness, right? All the videos are part of a film. All the songs are part of a story. And that story hasn't been told. All I'm trying to do is finish what we started. That's my whole goal in prayers, is to finish what we started. And once it's done, that's it. There are no more prayers, you know?